Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 2018 Doctor Who DVD, Blu-ray, and Target Books Collection Overview. Alrighty, so today we see the end of the classic era of Doctor Who with the final 3 seasons, with the 7th Doctor as portrayed by the wonderful Sylvester McCoy. And then it was on hiatus until 1996, when we got one single solitary TV movie featuring Paul McGann as the 8th Doctor, and then it was on hold for another, 9 years until we got the new series, which has been going pretty much continuously ever since. So, 7th Doctor and 8th Doctor, today on the Doctor Who Collection Overview on the Multimedia Chronicles. Alrighty, so kicking off the 7th Doctor's era here, we have what many fans consider to be one of the worst regeneration stories ever, Time and the Rani. Yeah, there are aspects of this story that are just freaking painful, but not the least of which is how it begins, where, of course, after Colin Baker was unceremoniously dumped from the show, they needed to do a regeneration. So basically, the first scene of this, we have, for whatever reason, the Doctor and Melanie are passed out on the floor, and we basically have Sylvester McCoy in a Colin Baker wig. He gets turned over and just quickly regenerates, and suddenly he's the 7th Doctor. So it's like the lamest regeneration ever, and they just did it to do it because they were dicks to Colin Baker. But that said, we got Sylvester McCoy, and Sylvester McCoy is absolutely wonderful. Now, when it started off, his first season, they were kind of playing it a little bit more comedic, I guess, to kind of lighten the tone, I guess, from Colin Baker's sort of darker stories. Now, that said, there's this one, Paradise Towers, which fans are really divided on. I actually really like this one a lot. It's one of my favorite of the first season. I think it's a lot of fun. I love the sort of satirical aspects to it, and sort of the dark humor of it. But I don't know, for whatever reason, it rubs a lot of fans the wrong way. But whatever, everybody's different, right? And then we have Delta and the Bannermen, which I don't really remember much about. But yeah, anyway, what I was going to say is the first season they played the Doctor, a little more comedy style. And Sylvester McCoy kind of went to the producers and said, hey, can I do things a little more seriously? Like, it seems like we're going a little over the top with the comedy. Dragonfire is actually a fun one. I like this one, even though it has one of the most baffling cliffhangers of the entire series. Allow me to explain why that cliff... It's this one here, where he's hanging off the cliff. They actually showed it on the back. He's literally hanging on a cliff. It's literally a cliffhanger. But in the televised episode, it's kind of strange. Like, the Doctor just sort of lowers himself over the cliff, and then he's dangling from his umbrella for apparently no reason whatsoever. But apparently there was a reason, but they didn't film it. For whatever reason, they didn't film it, and it would have been the simplest little explanation. Like, literally a shot or two could have explained it. But basically what the idea was the Doctor was trying to get around this ledge, and he tried to go through a passage, but the passage ended in a dead end. So his only option was to lower himself over the edge to climb around to get to the other side, to where he was trying to go. That was it. That was the whole explanation. But for whatever reason, they didn't film that. So now we just have this really strange scene of the Doctor lowering himself over the edge and putting himself in peril for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Okay. It's like, what, you just said, we should put the Doctor said, I should put myself in peril because it's the end of the episode. We need a cliffhanger. But so there was a rational explanation. They just didn't film it. So, yeah, anyway. Then we have Remembrance of the Daleks. This is the 25th anniversary season, so kind of a big deal. There's, a lot of sort of calling back to the past in this, and also trying to reestablish some mystery about the Doctor, which is pretty cool, actually. And this is a great story. This is a great premiere to what is, overall a pretty solid season. And honestly, I mean, even though Silver Nemesis is considered the official 25th anniversary story, I've always said I think this is a way better 25th anniversary story, because this, quite frankly, has way more callbacks to the past than Silver Nemesis does. So I don't know why Silver Nemesis is the 25th anniversary story. But anyway, then we have the Happiness Patrol, which is another one that has fans kind of divided. I actually kind of dig this one just for its goofiness, and I love how completely ineffective the Candyman is. I mean, he's supposed to be this wonderful, menacing villain, but he's so useless and like so easily defeated at every turn by the Doctor. I think it's just hilarious. Yeah. So then we have Silver Nemesis, which is a bit of a mixed bag. This is a really lackluster DVD, considering how many bonuses there have been over the years. There was a wonderful hour-long documentary just called The Making of Doctor Who, which was all about the making of this story. It's not on the DVD. It was available on the VHS in slightly truncated form. There was a couple clips to do with the music, I think, that they weren't able to get the clearances for. But fortunately, I have the original PBS airing of this, plus, like, an hour's worth of bonus interviews that aired later. So I've got essentially 2 hours of documentary material about the making of this story that aired on PBS, which I will cherish forever because they were never repeated. But yeah, and then also there was an alternate extended cut of Silver Nemesis that was also released on VHS, which is also not on this DVD. So I don't know why. Like, I mean, it's supposed to be this big 25th anniversary episode, yet they gave it, like, the lamest DVD presentation, and there's not even that much on there. They got 22 minutes of deleted and extended scenes, so that's probably all the material that was in the extended version, but they didn't give us the extended version. Like, so, I don't know, maybe there's a fan edit out there somewhere that incorporates all that back in. Then we have The Greatest Show in the Galaxy, which is such a great story. It's so creepy, and, this is a great finale to the season. So after the kind of mixed bag of Happiness Patrol and Silver Nemesis, we have great bookends to this season with Remembrance of the Daleks and Greatest Show in the Galaxy. This was really, really good. And then the final season. The final season is just superb all around and really showed that the show had finally got back on its feet. We got Battlefield, which features the final appearance of the Brigadier in the classic series, and it's a great callback to the Legend of King Arthur and Merlin. Really, really cool stuff. Then we have Ghostlight, which I've said before, I'll say it again. If you've never read the novelization of this, read the novelization of it if you can get your hands on it. It is so good and really helps to fill in some of the blanks. I really feel that this should have been a 4-parter rather than a 3-parter, because it just some aspects of it feel a little rushed or a little underexplained. The book definitely fills in the blanks there and makes things a lot clearer. And I think if you revisit the televised story after reading the book, you'll have a whole new appreciation for it. But what is there and what they did do and how they did do it as a 3-part, I think it's fantastic. It's a really good looking one. It has a great soundtrack, and I just love it. And then the absolute masterpiece of Sylvester McCoy's era, we have The Curse of Fenric. Some fans think it's overrated. I think they're just being contrarian, because quite frankly, I think this is a superb story. Now this one, we got everything, because they had an extended cut that was on DVD. They've got that on here, and on VHS. We've got that on here, and all kinds of stuff. So actually, I think it's a new version, a new extended version. Yeah, a new movie-length version featuring extra footage, new CGI effects, and remixed soundtrack. Yeah, so great stuff. This is a wonderful story, and it ties into the whole era of the Seventh Doctor, pretty much all the way back to his first season. And then we have the final story of the classic series, Survival, and this is it. And this is where it all ended, folks. This was the end of it. Now, that said, this being the final story, they've got tons of extras on here, lots of stuff, all about the cancellation of the show, and they got some bonus material. They got what is it? They have the CD. I think they have the CD-ROM material of where is it here? Yeah, Destiny of the Daleks. They have all of Anthony Ainley's footage as the Master from Destiny of the Daleks, the CD-ROM game, which was his final appearance as the Master before he passed away. But this is his last appearance everybody's last appearance in the show, of course. So there was that. So then we're just going to go through the last couple here. We got, in 1996, we of course had the TV movie, This starring Paul McGann, which is wonderful. This is a great edition of it. It has not only the movie, but it's got all kinds of extras, a second disc of extras, lots of archival extras, stuff about the wilderness years, as it's called, basically the time between the end of the series and this, and the subsequent revival of the series in 2005, sort of the 17-year gap, where this was all we had in that 17 years, this one movie. One complaint I have about this, though, this was a co-production with Fox Television, so it's basically primarily done in the States, and as such, it was done in NTSC format, so that's 30 frames per second, NTSC quality video. Now, for this DVD, they basically took the NTSC master and converted it to PAL, which means it has that 4% PAL speed up issue. So it runs slightly faster and the voices are pitched slightly higher. So I thought for the NTSC DVD, which we got here, they would go with the NTSC master, which plays at the correct speed and the correct pitch. But no, they made a new NTSC master from the PAL master. So now we have a sped up NTSC version. It really irritates me. So basically what I did was I ripped the DVD, and when I watch it, I play it through VLC player and have it manually correct the audio. So there. So that really annoys me, especially considering Paul McGann primarily has been known as the Eighth Doctor through the audio adventures. So you go and listen to the audio adventures, he sounds normal, but you go back and watch the movie, it sounds like he just sucked back a bunch of helium. Like, come on, fix that shit. All right, and then finally we have Scream of the Shalka, starring Richard E. Grant as he was the Ninth Doctor, but now he's referred to as the Nth Doctor because this was done at a time when we didn't know if there was going to be a new series. So it was just kind of done as a throwaway. So pretty cool. And not the first time that Richard E. Grant has played the Doctor, because also during the Wilderness years we had this, which is a comic relief special, The Curse of the Fatal Death. And Richard E. Grant does briefly... That's Hugh Grant. Where's the other one? There he is. Richard E. Grant plays the Doctor briefly in one of his regenerations in this story. This is very funny, very tongue-in-cheek, featuring Rowan Atkinson primarily as the Doctor, and then what's his face as the Master. Why can't I remember his name? Jonathan. Oh my God, I've forgotten his name. Jonathan Pryce. Thank you. Holy crap. Why did I blank on that? And he actually plays a really good Master, I have to say. And then, and then we go through all these different regenerations. We go to Hugh Grant, Jim Broadbent, Richard E. Grant, and Joanna Lumley as a female Doctor. Kind of funny. Sort of predicted the future there. Alrighty, so books. Let's see what we got here. So we have, Paradise Towers, the one that everybody loves. No. The one that apparently only I love and everybody else hates. So, yeah, got Paradise Towers. And we got Delta and the Bannermen. I do like the painted covers on these. They're very nice. And then we have the Happiness Patrol. It's actually all painted covers. Very, very nice covers to these. There we go. And then finally we have the Curse of Fenric. So I've got 4 of the 12 stories, so I just got 8 more to finish off the collection there. And then I have some other books here, which I figure there's really nowhere else to put them. I might as well put them in here since there's so few stories. We have Harry Sullivan's War, the first of the Companions of Doctor Who series, written by Harry Sullivan himself, Ian Marter. Very good. Can you tell I'm a huge fan of Ian Marter? I've been mentioning him through all of these. But, I love Ian Marter. He was a great writer and a lot of fun as Harry. And then we have Turlough and the Earthlink Dilemma, which was the only other Companions of Doctor Who book that Target did. So, yeah, there we go. And it has an intro by Mark Strickson, who is, of course, the actor who played Turlough. Now, in the intervening years between the end of the classic series and the TV movie, Virgin Publishing put out the New Adventures, which basically was intended to was New Adventures with the Seventh Doctor and Ace initially, and then other companions came in later. Continuing on from the end of Survival, the last televised story. So this is one of the earlier ones. We have Deceit. This was sent to me by Andrews Annie Major. And then this one I picked up in one of the used bookstores. We have Blood Harvest. There we go. And Blood Harvest leads directly into... where is it here? Where did I put it? Here. Yeah, Blood Harvest leads directly into this one, which is Goth Opera, which is actually a 5th Doctor adventure. But it's part of the Missing Adventures line, which was basically a series that Virgin did featuring Doctors 1 through 6. So they did a whole bunch of those. And anyway, so that's pretty cool. And then we have another one of the Missing Adventures, Downtime, which is actually based on, basically a fan film that was made, but starring ex-Doctor Who actors such as Deborah Watling and Nicholas Courtney and, what's his face, Jack Travers, or, no, hold on a second, was Jack Watling as Professor Travers. So, very cool indeed. Yeah, I talked about this in my update video. We got Sarah Jane Smith, Elizabeth Sladen. So essentially, this was a follow-up to The Abominable Snowman and The Web of Fear. So it's like a direct sequel to that, and it is now considered canon. It's actually been released on DVD. We've got the novelization in the Missing Adventures line, and yeah, pretty cool stuff. And then next up, and then after Virgin, their license ran out and they didn't get renewed, the BBC wanted to take over the publishing of books themselves. We've got a couple different ones here. We've got Hope, which is actually an 8th Doctor adventure. So this was after the TV movie came out. BBC basically said, yeah, we want to take over the books now. It's like, fine. So the bitch of that, though, is that it meant that all the Virgin Publishing ones immediately went out of print and could never be reprinted. So they've since been reprinted, a few of them anyway, in ebook form. But if you want the actual paperbacks, you got to track them down. And good luck on some of them, because some of them are really expensive. But because they didn't have very high print runs. So this is one of the... so they basically... so BBC picked up where they left off and started a new series of adventures featuring the 8th Doctor. I think Virgin did like 1 or 2 with the 8th Doctor, and then it went over to the BBC. So this is one of the 8th Doctor adventures, just a random one. And then there's this one here, which is the Infinity Doctors. Now, the interesting thing about this is it was intended that it was written in such a way that it doesn't specify which Doctor it is. It's supposed to be kind of up to the reader which Doctor they would like to sort of slot in as the Doctor in the story. Something like that, anyway. But quite a dense read. This one was actually put out for the 35th anniversary, just kind of as a celebration of all things Doctor Who. Oh, and there you go. So the local used bookstores actually have quite a lot of the New Adventures and the Missing Adventures and a bunch of the BBC ones. So when I've got a little more money to spare, I think I'm going to head down there and just kind of raid whatever they've got and stuff like that. Because I've never really read any of the New Adventures, and I've heard that some of them are quite good. And I think it's high time I checked some of those out, because I do love me some fresh Who, especially fresh classic Who, to enjoy. And there you have it. Sadly, that is where the classic era came to a close, which is really a shame, because the last season was really good, and they were really getting the show back on track, and they kind of got over that difficult hump after the hiatus in 1985, and were really, making it something special again, and then the show was canceled. Or sorry, it wasn't canceled, it was put on rest indefinitely. Or to rest. It was resting. Whatever that means. It was canceled. Anyway. That is it for the classic era. Next time, just going to do one video about New Who, basically, just to kind of cover all of the stuff that I have. I've got most of it. I'm missing a few things, but the things I do have, I think, are pretty darn cool. So let's check them out next time. So we'll see you then. Until then, thanks for watching. Big thanks to my Patreon sponsors, and sayonara.